Be a man. What does that mean? And a lot of people will say, will be unable to answer that question. So in this video, okay, on this podcast, after watching this, you're going to know exactly what a man is, how he acts, how he turns up, and what he's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with 2 questions for you guys, all right, for everyone here. So this is not a listen to, this is about, particularly if you're watching on YouTube, interaction, all right? So I'm going to ask 2 questions, then I'm going to talk about this thing called toxic masculinity. I'm going to talk about that, right? Then I'm going to give you the answer. And you're going to go, boom, I can't believe this has been here the whole time. But in the Bible, it talks about 5 different things, about how a man should be, act, turn up. And a lot of us have got it right, or partly right, without even knowing it, because it's in our DNA. To protect and provide, a lot of us have got that, or we know about it. But then it talks about being a king, talks about being a priest, and it talks about being a prophet. And I think most of us know to be able to protect and provide, we get the gist of that. Put a roof over our head, food in the fridge, bad guy comes to the door, we can protect our children. Or at least we know we should. But when it comes to becoming a king, what does that mean? That means leadership in a godly way, godly authority, okay? So we're leading, we're just doing that, providing, protecting, but we've got authority. A king has a kingdom. People should feel safe in that kingdom, okay? And the priest is about emotional support, being emotionally there for the people that are in your kingdom, particularly about we're praying, we've got a great vision, we have hope, which comes to the prophet, which is about having that clear vision that our kingdom can run in and everyone flourishes, okay? So the protector, the provider, the king, the priest, and the prophet, all right? But that's not what I'm going to talk about today, okay? So this is the 2 questions, particularly the first question is that I would like to ask, and I would love some feedback from every man that's watching, and maybe women as well, because I know there's about 5%, 4 or 5% of women that watch this channel. And by the way, I've seen we've done some videos the other day, or in the last couple of weeks, but I looked the other day, it was up to 94% of people watching these videos have not subscribed. Please subscribe, because what that means is the algorithm will go out to, it'll send more men like you will get help. That's what I want you guys to do, get some interaction here, all right? So when did this go wrong? Or maybe no, when did men stop becoming men? Stop acting? Because you're born male doesn't make you a man just because you're born male. And what I'd like to, and I want to hear from people in the comments, when did we accept, as men, when did we accept, we're going to take responsibility for this, when did we accept that it was okay for our children to choose their own gender in our society? When did we allow that? When did we allow men to compete in female sport? When the heck did that happen? When did that happen? When did we accept those things? Because I remember, I was born in 73, and my old man is amazing. He's a man. He's a man. I remember as a kid, maybe I'm 10, 12, I remember teaching me how to work, even if I was younger, teaching me how to ride horses, teaching me to get back on again, teaching me that I was strong enough, that I was tough enough. I can remember, and it was hard, I remember fencing I remember on school holidays, and it was pouring down rain, and I remember I had a kid come over, all right? I was in tech school, so I would have been 12 or 13. I remember this kid, and we lived in a rural area, we had to go out. I had to catch a bus to school, an hour trip. I remember one of these kids from school wanted to come out to our farm, come out, and we had to do this fencing, and it was pouring down rain, and this kid was crying. He wanted to play, but I knew we needed to get this fence done. Like, I had to help me dad build this fence. Like, there was cattle, there was horses. Like, when did this change? Was it the 80s? Was it the 90s? Because if I think about those things, men were men. I remember my father's mates. Nobody had to say, you didn't shake your hand and say, are you a male or a female? That didn't happen. That's insanity to think where we're at. So I'd love it. When did that happen? I think it's hilarious. But hey, it's a question. What we're going to do, particularly towards the end of this video, the story of what we're going to talk about, you're going to get answers to questions, okay? So when people come to you and say, what is a man? You're actually going to have an answer, and it's going to help you, obviously, personally. So why did this happen? These things that we've accepted. Why did this happen? Like, for example, I remember back in the early 2000s, or even 15 years ago, like, where it was almost like the media started to infiltrate how we thought. All of a sudden, there was wordings that were changed, that in government, you couldn't say him or her, you had to say they. Like there was all this stuff that happened. I don't know why it was happening. I can't answer. I would love to hear, why did it happen? Why did we change all this wording on certain things, calling a man? Because men were strong. Men were bold. And I'm not saying women aren't. I'm just saying they are in a different way. That's what I'm saying. So when did this happen and why did it happen? Please leave me a comment, all right? So the third thing we're going to talk about is this thing, because I don't know when this even come about, this toxic masculinity. Do you know all the people that have said this toxic masculinity, I've asked them to explain what that actually means. Has anyone else, like, watching or listening, have actually asked somebody, and maybe you've said it. Maybe you've said it. You don't know what you're actually talking about. Because I ask people, and I have never had anyone explain to me what it actually is, toxic masculinity. Because what they do is they'll talk about, and they'll say some things like, oh, they're violent towards women. I know they are. I know. I supported a women's refuge. We built 6 units. We decked out a house so 9 women could live in. We fenced 2 acres. Like, I know. But that's not toxic masculinity. And wait for this. Even like that saying, oh, men don't cry, okay? That's toxic if men don't cry, okay? Has anyone heard that? Or what about toxic masculinity? I've heard people say, oh, they're toxic because they don't ask for help, okay? That's not toxic either. All right, wait for it. Or what about men don't share their emotions? So that's toxic. Oh, have you heard that one? Or what about men are domineering and bullying? That's toxic. I'm telling you, none of that is actually toxic masculinity. This is actually what it is. It's an undeveloped male is what it is. It's undeveloped, because when men are strong, bold, brave, they protect. Remember, they provide. They're kings. They're kings in their home, in their place of business, in their community. They're priests and prophets. They prophesy over the future. Okay? So none of those things are actually toxic masculinity. That's just an undeveloped male. That's a boy. That's an actual boy. And I've shared this a few times of late about in the 1930s, 40s, they come up with a new word in the English language, and it's called adolescence. Adolescence. You're not boy, but you're certainly not a man. What are you? Let's make a new word. That's exactly what's happening now. We're making new words to suit undeveloped men. That's what we're doing, okay? So maybe this is a poke in the chest for some males here. Good. You need it. How do I know? Because I needed it to step up, okay? All right, so here we go. I hope you got some information there. But more importantly, it'll make you think. It'll challenge you. I want to hear from the comments, like, be a man now. Are you challenged? Are you challenged? Be a man and answer the question, okay? Do you know what a real man is? Let me know. Because this is what it's about. Let's have this conversation. And this is what I love, all right? This is what I love. There's certain principles, laws, way of doing things that will go beyond time, that have stood the test of time. The truth is the truth, no matter what year you're in, no matter how old you are. And this is what I love, okay? To go to the truth. So when someone says to you, what is a man? This is how should a man be? What does a man look like? All right. So 1 Corinthians 16:13, it says, 13:14 will say, this is what it says, be alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be strong, and do everything with love. So breaking that down, this is Paul saying, hey, listen, I'm coming to see the church at Corinthians, but until I get there, this is what I want you to do, man. Okay? This is what it says. Be alert. That's the first thing. Be alert. It's almost like a guard, a security guard, a military, somebody holding their post, standing firm, being alert. I'm alert here. I'm protecting the people I love. I'm protecting my community. It talks about being alert. How many men are asleep? They're asleep at the post. All sorts of rubbish is attacking their children through their phones, attacking their wife, attacking their marriage. Okay? So be alert, be like a soldier. The second thing is, right, it says stand firm in your faith. Okay? Some versions of the Bible, I like to go between a couple. I've got 3 here now. Some versions say act like a man, being real simple. Act like a man, like my father did, like his mates did. Hey, they were rough around the edges. Don't make no mistake, but they were strong, okay? They stood firm, okay? They had morals and character, even though they were maybe a little bit outside, but they knew what they were standing firm about, okay? So stand firm in your faith. And I think that's a lot about, particularly this day and age, and what I do with my 7 children. I don't shake and quiver. I don't balk at shadows. I stand firm. They know if I say something, it's done. Okay? I'm doing it. I don't change because the weather does or because I don't feel like that anymore. No. So stand firm and act like a man. So the next thing it says, be courageous. Choose to do the right thing even though it's uncomfortable, even though you're afraid, even though maybe it may not work out, but you choose to live a courageous life. That's what we do, okay? That's what being a man means, okay? The fourth thing it says, it talks about be strong. What does that mean? This is what my interpretation, you stay cool under pressure. You hold form going through adversity, but you be strong for your families. You don't talk to your wife and you don't freak your wife out or your kids out, because you be strong is what I'm saying. That's what the Word of God says. And this is 14, it says, 16:14. It says, do everything with love. Do everything in love. And one of the best examples, this is going back 20 plus years ago. It was like a 3 or 4 day thing. It was called the Emmaus Walk, okay? And it was a group of blokes, and a smaller group of men took a larger group of men through this Emmaus Walk. And it was about love, and it was a love that Christ has for the disciples and the love that he displayed. And it talks about agape love, okay? So I first learned about 20 plus years ago. It's not a romantic love like you would have with a woman. It's called agape love. And what this love is, it's a love, it's sacrificial love. It's a love that is sacrificing so others benefit, okay? That's what this is about. I tell you what, when these men showed me this love, it changed my life. Like 20 plus years down the track, I can see it, it changed me is what I'm saying. So this is the love as men we must have for the people we love, for the things we love, for our mission. It must be a love of sacrifice. And you think, oh, geez, that sounds hard. Yes, being a man is hard, but you're built for it. Goodness me, you're built for it. But if you feel like it's hard, like when you're a man and you've been through rite of passages, and there's plenty of rite of passages out there that I think are more suited to women. I'm just being honest here. All right? I've heard blokes say it's more Mrs. Jones meeting. I don't know. I'm having some fun here, all right? I'm just being real. Being a man, okay? So anyway, so if you're struggling, this is one thing that I like to do. I like to always talk about with men. And this other Bible I've got called the Passion Bible. And this almost, I believe, gets you ready for acting and being like a man. Having that courageous strength that is in you, okay? Is in you. So it talks about 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. And this is what it says, man. This is, when this happened to me, talking close to how many years ago, I was like, 2001. We're talking 24 years ago where I got this. I got this, man. I got it. I knew that I knew that I knew. And this is what and it come to an Easter production. I remember going to this Easter production and I realised I didn't even know what Easter was about. Okay? That was where I was at. And it was this play, and it said something like this. Okay, I'm going to read it in a minute. But just to give you a little backstory. My parents, right, I heard that I was not planned, all right? And I interpreted that as I was an accident, okay? So I didn't know, Mom, hear me right here. My parents loved me beyond measure. I was loved. I know I've always been loved. I'm loved beyond what my parents went through to raise me, to keep me, to do it. Amazing. 11 out of 10. I grew up loved, okay? But in the back of my head, I thought I was an accident. I interpreted it as I was an accident. And then I grew up feeling like a square peg in a round hole, okay? So until I heard this, okay? And this is the Passion version, all right? 2 Peter 1, verse 3. And this will get you ready for being a man, all right? Everything we could ever need for life or godliness has already been deposited in us by his divine power, okay? For all this was lavished upon us through the rich experience of knowing him who called us by name, okay? Called you by name and invited us into... Anyway, I don't need to read the rest of that. You got enough. Called you by name. It goes on and talks about he chose you before time even began. Okay? So there's a purpose, there's a plan to your life, there's a mission inside of you. But if you don't understand that, if you don't understand why you're making those sacrifices, if you don't understand why you've been put in the family that you've been put in, okay? Because remember, you were chosen before time even began. Your children were chosen to be with you. Your wife was chosen to be with you. You may have made a bad choice from time to time, but the point is you are with her. Goodness me. Hey, so there's a lot more I could go on with, believe me. But you get, what is a real man? What is a real man? So when it comes to when did this go wrong? Hey, it's all speculation here. Why did it go wrong? Another speculation. For each man, it'll be a different experience, I believe. But the bottom line is, gentlemen, we're born male, but that doesn't make us a man, okay? So this transition from boy to man is going to take some courage. It's going to take being strong. It's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take standing firm in your faith, your beliefs. It's going to take going the distance, going until. But I think 2 Peter, where it talks about everything you could ever need for life and godliness has already been deposited in you. That's about identity. That's about who you are. You will never outperform how you see yourself, your self-image, your identity. You'll never outperform. So if you know there's more in you, and this is going, Gav, I like what you're saying. The 17th of this month, we've got to Become a Better Man challenge, our next one. But really, it's going to be about many things, but really about getting on purpose, on mission. What is your assignment for the next 12 months? What is your assignment for 2026? So that you don't, because all of a sudden, it's Christmas again. Am I right or not? Leave me a comment. If you're thinking, how fast did that come up? Yeah, I think it's 52 days to Christmas. So, man, step up, be a man. All right, over and out.